I'm a one take wonder. That means I go in flow, and to date, I've never actually input or put anything jazzy or fancy in the video, but I'm going to change that today. So I wanted to show you just a little montage about where I'm recording, a little bit about my apartment. It's going to be really quick and it's going to be inserted and now. So how about that? Did we pull it off? Did we make that happen? We're going to find out, right? In the old post production, as they say. My loves, this has very much become the best part of my day. It's what I look forward to the most, and I've got to admit that these last couple of days have been a bit of a slog post 12 p.m. And the reason for that is I think there's a couple things. One is that I'm in a pivot mode. I'm in a transition. I'm no longer doing things the way that I was because I wasn't feeling fulfilled and like fully expressed. And so now there's a lot more dedication, a lot more love, and a lot more energy being poured into creating and expressing and sharing and doing this with us together, you know? And I don't know if it's patience or what, you just want the thing to be the thing. You want the relationships to develop. You want to make the new connections right away. You want it all to just like bippity boppity boo, right? Well, I do anyway, if I'm being totally honest. So there is that. And also, this has been something I haven't wanted to admit, and then like maybe wasn't ready to like. Okay, I've been smoking. I don't even like to like say that out loud, but like I've been smoking for this entire year, and like so like casually and like on the slide that I've been like, oh, because I don't consider myself someone who's like addicted. I'm obsessive. Let's be real. But yeah, with addiction, I've kind of been like, I can take it or leave it. Excuse me. So I didn't really put any emphasis on my like daily habit. But today's day 6 that I haven't had a ciggy. And I like literally was like Googling up, like, do people get grumpy and a bit down? And I like know this, but somehow I felt like that rule didn't apply to me. Anyway, so there we go. That's a journey that I'm also sharing with you. And as well, I've been sober ish for several years. Like, I rarely drink at all anymore. But still, every time that I go out to anything, like a cat, like whatever, it's still like taking up quite a bit of real estate in my mind. It's like, oh, will I today or won't I? And there was a stint in 2019 that I did for 6 months sober just to like give it a bosh, see what happened. I loved it. And you know what I loved is that it just like wasn't a question. It just like was so easy to not even go over those extensive bar lists or cocktail menus or whatever. And I'm just like, it's gonna be the best mocktail you've got, or like something kombucha, like give me something good. So I've been feeling like that's also something that has been happening like anyway, but that making a clear choice about it and being committed, I feel like actually takes energy off. Although, yeah, it's a bit of a thing to like be with, and it may come up the odd time or whatever, but I feel like I'd much rather be free from the commitment than be like, am I like free myself? So that's where I'm at. So yeah, like it's been a bit sloggy these last 2 days. Not because I've been like shaking for a drink or anything. I like it could be weeks without a drink, and that's no worries. But what it has been is that I'm showing up for myself in my craft every day. And there is this vulnerability aspect when you're at your own visible edge, right? So anytime that you are leaning into and out of your comfort zone, and you're showing up with consistency, and you're really kind of going for it, then it's like, okay, well, you have to like keep self encouraging and like keep leaning in. And of course there's this, it would be really nice to see some growth. And then it's like, okay, if we can't be content and like happy with where we are now, then how would we expect ourselves to like know when it was time to be happy or like totally content with ourselves later on? Like, what would be enough? What would be enough for us to know, okay, yep, there we go. I can relax now, finally. All that anxiety, all that stress, all that pressure that I was putting on myself no longer needs to apply because I have officially made up. That's a joke, right? Like, that's a laughing matter. We all know that. There is no such thing. Because anytime we're basing our value on any kind of vanity metric or someone else approving us or applauding and saying, oh, now we get it. Now we've seen who you've been this whole time. Yes, I'm the one, you're the one, we're the ones who are with ourselves during the entirety of that journey. So we get to say that we are feeling contentment and ease and joy and like we're having fun. Oh my gosh. You know, we can have challenging days, we can have, but we've also got to be able to be aware and refine and to keep pursuing what it is that we've committed ourselves to. Otherwise, how will we ever know? How will we ever actually be living our true lives? You know? So it's like, that's what I've been feeling a little bit. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I said something that I've never said in my entire life yesterday. I said it twice to my two besties. And they were both like, I've never heard you say that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a brand new feeling, which is that I feel like a small fish in a big pond. Yeah, oh my gosh. Because we create all these little worlds, right? And we're like, okay, that's my like network. Like, I've been Instagram focused for 3 years, right? So like I'm out of my platform right now. I don't even know. I'm like, YouTube, what's up? Um, and you know, when you can potentially have all the exposure that you could ever want and all the exposure that you don't want as well, that's a funky, and there's like, you looking at number, like you can't help, like, I don't know anyone who's superhuman enough to not let those types of things affect you, is like to think about, you know, that's all I see on my like feed page is like, get monetized, like 10 million, like, are you creating ideas, are you creating relationships, like, where are you coming from, is it TikTok, like, uh uh you know, so I need to just like roll it on back, get immersed into my creative space, be with my own life, and not get so caught up and wrapped up in this little fish, you know, big pond thing. So anyway, that's something that's real for me. Let me know if you've ever felt that way before. And where are we? Ooh, yes. Okay, here's an interesting one. And if you know me, you know I love a little like word play a little bit, but look at how close the words pursue and pressure are. So there's a pursuit and a pursuing of our passion, and then there's a pressurization and putting pressure on our passion. And it's a fine fucking line. It is a fine line between those two. Would you say? Because it's like, okay, but like I'm pursuing, and at what point do you tip the scales and enter the pressure mode? Because once we're in that pressure mode, we know that that passion isn't really truly able to to flourish and do what it's meant to do, right? But you're like, oh, I'm pursuing. So what's the difference? And this isn't something I've come to any kind of conclusion. So it's really up for discussion at this point. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. Comments or whatever. I'd love to like discuss it. I'm definitely going to be thinking more about it. So I'll probably talk about it again tomorrow. And here's another thing is that you can be self-affirming, you know, you can believe in yourself and you can know what you're doing is making a difference because it makes you feel so great and like that is the most important thing. But you can also still want and need support, encouragement, and like applause from your favorite people. Like that's just like basic human, you know? So and especially if you've got the one of the love languages, words of affirmation up in there. Again, fine line between you're like, am I seeking, like, do I really need um, affirmation or is that how I receive love and that like that's my nurture? Or is it, am I placing too much emphasis outside of me? How do I know the difference? So I feel like that's a conversation to have with ourselves when we're really committing and pursuing our, there's that pursue, not pressurizing our passion, but pursuing our passion. Yeah, so that's an important conversation to have with yourself and loved ones as well, you know? And if there's something that you're not getting and that you're like, okay, I really can't provide this for myself, then bring it to a friend and have a conversation about it. What else have we got? What have I said? Oh, I was watching this YouTube because that's my thing now. And I'm looking at this spider on the wall. I don't know if I keep looking at it. It's just hanging out. Super chill. Yep, no, he's good. And YouTube's motto used to be broadcast. Yeah, broadcast yourself. I was like, oh wow, it's changed a lot since then, hasn't it? It's really evolved. But you know, in essence, that's what I'm choosing to do. Like that's what I've always seen as a part of my vision is being like, just share. Just share the goods, you know, let people in on your morning, have a little coffee with them, broadcast yourself. Nothing fancy, nothing's going on. I'm in my apartment. I don't have a gazillion links of things that you should invest in. This mic was a gift. I got this Mac at the beginning of the year from my neighbor, Ivan. I paid for it. And that's it, my love. Broadcast yourself. So, how can you embrace that motto today? In what ways are you not broadcasting anything at all, but that would actually provide value and fulfillment to your life without getting caught up on all those other things, the vulnerability of it, you know? Maybe it's just a part of the game, you know? And that's it, my loves. I hope we have a glorious day. Looking at my eyebrows, bit out of hand. Okay, lots of love.